What do you think are the main motivating factors for ETH's persisting underperformance?
So first, my disclaimer that you've forgotten more about Ethereum than I know. I did invest early when it was just about $1. And so ETH is close to my heart. Listen, Ethereum is still the largest Web3 blockchain. And it's a very important blockchain. It has the most developers. It has the most people engaged. It's got my favorite guy in the entire crypto universe as its, founder and sole kind of heartbeat in Vitalik. I think Vitalik is just a world-class kid. He's not a kid anymore. I guess he's an adult, but I met him when he was a kid. And so I think we should be careful that we, push ETH to the side. Listen, in some ways, ETH is going through this awkward adolescence in that as we move to a real decentralized world, you needed speed of processing with decentralization and security. That famous triangle that people used to talk about in 2017, Ethereum has really been plotting towards. And, now you've got an L2 ecosystem with things like Base or Optimism, Linea coming with ZK, that is got pretty much the same capacity for processing as Solana. You could probably tell me if I'm right or wrong on that, but it seems
I don't actually know about that.
It seems that we're getting close.
But it is a lot more scalable with L2s. Ethereum has more transaction
we're building
throughput.
this ecosystem. Now, so again, I think we'll see. The biggest reason I think for outperformance is like Gensler leaned on ETH, right? He was suing Consensus. ETH's not a security or not a security, and only got pushed at the very end when he was forced to, approving the ETF. And so you had some regulatory pressure on Ethereum. You also had narrative, right? So Bitcoin has a really interesting narrative right now in that people wanted digital gold and the governments of the world just spending too much money. And so that's the narrative that took off. That got Larry Fink involved. It got central banks involved. People talking for the Bitcoin strategic reserve or strategic stockpile. Yeah. And so this narrative of Bitcoin as digital gold really grabbed hold.
And it's simple and concise.
Yes.
But what is the investment narrative for ETH?
Well, the ETH narrative is always going to be, we're going to build the decentralized web. That is the investment narrative. And the reality for all crypto ecosystems is narrative brings an enthusiasm, and enthusiasm creates value. And why smaller ecosystems persist is because they have some little narrative that keeps their participants engaged. And you look at something, I always pick on Cardano, and mostly I get yelled at. But I was wrong. I was wrong in that I thought lots of these ecosystems would go away. And they didn't. And I have a very different view on this now. Like, it's the libertarian view. If people want to be part of the XRP army, let them. That's their decision. And XRP has a narrative, and they like it. It's, in some ways, all of these ecosystems have a little bit of store of value in them.
Michael Novogratz has shared startling insights that have sent ripples through the cryptocurrency community concerning Ethereum. Despite the recent Trump announcement that has Ethereum in a guaranteed spot within the new strategic crypto reserve, Ethereum appears to be navigating through a stormy sea of uncertainties as it contends with regulatory headwinds in the United States. But what does this mean for the second largest cryptocurrency? And where does it leave the holders of the coin? Let's delve deeper into Novogratz's remarks. Welcome back to Investocracy Crypto.
And Consensus, Joe Lubin made a statement in light of all that drama saying that Consensus would step up more, that it's not just Ethereum Foundation's burden to market the Ethereum ecosystem, it's up to all the ecosystem participants, of which Galaxy is one participant.
And we've got you.
That's true, and this podcast, as well as the coverage I do. But any other plans this year in 2025 for Galaxy to make bigger waves, step up for the Ethereum ecosystem?
So let me give you like a metaphor of what's happening right now in AI. So we've had this whole DeepSeek came in and we're like, oh my goodness, inference is going to be so much cheaper and it's going to happen so much faster. And so the expectation now is stuff's going to be built on AI. And you're going to have this explosion of application, right? Ethereum kind of needs that. We've waited. We now have scalable, safe platforms to build. And so what's going to create new narrative is stuff that we start using. And what's stopped the whole crypto space from really fulfilling its dream, right? Like, why did I invest in Ethereum is because I literally showed up at Joe Lubin's office at Consensus and saw all these people plotting a decentralized revolution. They were talking about, how are we going to disintermediate music? How are we going to disintermediate finance? How are we going to disintermediate tickets? It's insane in some ways that was 2014, 15. When did Ethereum launch? 15?
2015.
Yeah, so it was 15. 9 years later, I was literally talking about decentralized tickets in 2016. I have a great story. I got a call from Adam Clayton from U2. I was like, I thought it was a prank call. And he wanted to talk about, in essence, NFT tickets, decentralized ticketing. And everyone didn't like Ticketmaster. And 9 years later, we don't have decentralized tickets. Lots of people have tried and failed. Building decentralized systems on top of these blockchains has proven harder than we thought. And we need to see social graphs take off. We need to see some of the applications work, and that will be the trigger for the new narrative of, oh my goodness, this is going to be the base layer of trust.
Michael Novogratz acknowledges Ethereum's underperformance amidst rising regulatory challenges, heavily influenced by the SEC's hard-hitting stance. In fact, Gary Gensler's tenure saw critical scrutiny of Ethereum-related projects, sending thousands in the crypto world scrambling to catch up with the whirlwind of lawsuits and inquiries. For instance, Consensus wasn't shy about voicing its displeasure, going head-to-head in legal battles with the SEC over its toughened outlook on Ethereum.
And it has really worked out for XRP. The group of people, the strong diehards, as well as a central leader really pushing it on the hill, Brad Garlinghouse. On Solana, you've got a very strong foundation, a very strong leader at the face, Anatoly. You mentioned that you are very proud of Vitalik, but Vitalik takes a very different approach, similar to Bitcoin. Do you think that the leadership in the Ethereum Foundation needs to be more centralized, needs to be more hard-hitting for ETH to succeed?
I think what I like so much about Vitalik is he cares about the long game, not the short game. He cares about the revolution. Like, he could be the richest guy in crypto if he wanted to be, and he's not. Right? I remember he gave away all that Doge. Was it Doge he gave away, or
I think there was some kind of a social
a
donation. Yeah. There was like a natural disaster.
$1 billion he gave it to like India.
There was some.
The guy, he's just a baller. I mean, he really is just a Chad. And I think Ethereum thinks they were first, and they're doing this the right way, and they're building towards a revolution. And I'm not discounting the other ecosystems. Like I said, I was talking to the woman who runs the Solana Foundation. I like Anatoly. I think they're doing great things. But I think the Ethereum playbook is different.
It is.
And it is, we're going to build this thing the right way, and we believe in it, and we're still the biggest, and we were first. Of smart contract blockchains, at least. And, they got a lot of great stuff. If you look at, Coinbase chose to build on Ethereum. Linea is coming, right? Optimism. There's a lot of smart developers that are
Deutsche
using
Bank is going to be launching on Ethereum.
And so I would not, again, full disclosure, we own Bitcoin the most, Ethereum the second most, Solana the third most. And, that, of course, could change if we change our weightings, and that's based a little bit on market size. It's based a little bit on volume and volatility, but I don't think, I'm not part of the Ethereum is dead culture.
In a curious twist, however, post-litigation, the SEC approved the launch of Ethereum spot ETFs, subtly reshaping investor perspectives on the asset. As much as Bitcoin and Solana struck gold with their recent bullish trends, Ethereum has become the diligent underdog. However, challenges remain aplenty. Indeed, Novogratz expressed concerns over the discord within the Ethereum Foundation and the FUD swirling around its enigmatic co-founder, Vitalik Buterin. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
One last final question for you, Mike, and thank you so much for the time again. Question, you said, we hold Bitcoin the most, ETH second, Sol third. When you think about the narrative that ETH is going for, decentralizing the web, the narrative that Bitcoin is going for, digital gold, look out, like, say, 20 years, the market size, the market cap of Bitcoin in relation to ETH, in relation to Sol, I mean, where do you think it plays out? Does it overtake?
I'm just not that smart.
How does the end?
I can do gold at, gold's 17, 18 trillion.
Okay.
And I think gold can go higher. And so there's a whole lot of room between where Bitcoin is now and where gold is. Okay. And so there's so much runway that to try to pinpoint it, I don't know. Listen, the biggest stocks in the world are worth, what, $3 trillion? That used to be $1 trillion. And so 17 trillion. Why is gold worth more than Apple, Google, the Mag 7, gold's worth more. Mm-hmm. Makes no sense, right? You can take all the gold in the world and literally it's a 30-meter cube. And if you think about what that cube is, it's a blockchain. It's, hey, this little chunk of the cube is owned by China. This little chunk is owned by my wife in her jewelry. This little chunk is owned by the USA, right? Mm-hmm. If you put it all back together like a Rubik's Cube, it's where we're storing wealth.
As the tales of Ethereum's trials and transformations unravel, one can't help but wonder if we're witnessing the dawn of a new era for this digital titan. Despite facing adversities, the long-term growth prospects of Ethereum beckon with promise. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. And finally, if you would like to know more about cryptocurrencies or specifically Bitcoin, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.